nitakungoja Yesu, nitakungoja, 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 ninakungoja Yesu, ninakungoja, 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 nitakungoja Yesu, nitakungoja, 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 ninakungoja Yesu, ninakungoja, ninakungoja, ninakungoja.
Again, I repeat myself, pardon me. Karibu sana to Homescapes today. We are excited. The team is ready. There's content to share this afternoon. So switch on the gear, stay ready, get your ice cold tea. That's what's needed today. We are continuing with our amazing discussion on relationships. We'll reveal in a few what we'll be talking about. And before we do that, of course, let me introduce the universally acclaimed team who will be helping us continue with the discussion today. And I'll start on my left today, my extreme left. Karibu sana.
Oh, thank you, Jasmine. I'm very excited. Sorry, it's not like I wasn't paying attention. I'm in a very romantic Song of Songs passage. And so I was just in that zone, of my beloved is radiant and Rudy outstanding among 10,000. Hallelujah.
So preempt the show.
No, I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
It's good to remember your beloved. Yes, but thank you. I'm looking forward to today's conversations and yes.
Karibu sana Bishop.
Asante.
Karibu.
Bishop ameanza na moto. I just want to say I'm Lorraine. I have the fire inside. I'm waiting for Jasmine to reveal what we are talking about today. I'm really happy to be here.
I'll do that in a few. Karibu sana Lo.
Thank you.
Yes, to my right.
Yes, I'm Julie. Also equally excited to be here today to discuss our hot topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Karibu sana Julie.
And my name is Reverend Elvis Lovey. Yeah, happy to
Rev.
be here. Looking forward.
Why are you prefacing whatever you will say with the Reverend, with the title
I
Reverend?
even have the robes. So that the word is, I speak as a one who's been sent by the Lord and not men.
We acknowledge your presence.
But I'm happy to be here.
Karibu sana, karibu sana. So Lorraine has said she can't wait for me to say what we'll be talking about. Our topic for today is, we have a question on, to what extent is hitting on a person, is it on or in?
On.
Hitting on a person who is in a relationship appropriate or inappropriate? I don't know whether that makes sense. I'm in a relationship.
I've had a reaction
And the world knows that I'm in a relationship. My church knows I'm in a relationship. My leadership here knows I'm in a relationship. But then another guy smoothly comes in, hits on me, sweeps me off my feet. To what extent is that appropriate or inappropriate? And I have to give a disclaimer. We are talking about dating relationships, not marriages.
Yeah,
Our question is on dating
Yes,
relationships, not marriages. And so this now finally goes to the universally acclaimed team to share their wisdom and strong opinions that the world cannot wait to hear. To what extent is hitting on a guy or a girl who is in a relationship appropriate? Reverend, you
No,
look so ready.
watu wataki kusema kesi zao mapema because they know what they want to say
Wanna
here.
load what is
You know
happening.
the way even she's putting it, my
Imagine.
church is aware, so
I
your
know,
church is aware.
leadership is
Now,
aware.
when you broadcast these things to who?
Yeah,
You know.
no, it's good to know. Hii si kitu iko chini ya maji, by the way. Everyone in the community knows.
In the community.
Like we approached the bishop tukauliza mpaka atupatie his blessings for a relationship. Just saying, bishop.
You know, it depends on whose point of view you're talking about. Yeah? You know, from your point of view, your church's point of view, you're in a relationship. That person you're calling smooth, does he even know, you know, that you're in this community or that there is this accountability? He may just saw, maybe he just saw a beautiful girl, and it's not like he want to inquire, behold, are you in a relationship? He doesn't know. He just knows, wow, I've seen, you know, like that, the German guy who was watching one time. Akasema, hey, somebody book for me that presenter. Ninaona ni kama ananichemsha kidogo.
Yeah.
He doesn't know whether you're in a relationship. Actually, he doesn't care. He just
Really,
feels,
he doesn't care.
why should he? I mean,
my
he's
goodness.
interested in
He
you.
shouldn't care.
He shouldn't care. I hope he doesn't care. If
Wait,
he's
are we
serious.
agreeing? I feel kicheko na two additions
mimi
tuko hapa hivi
nashindwa,
nashangaa. Kwani tunakubaliana na
Well,
what?
we are already in agreement. You can see we are flowing. Eh?
Tunapelekana.
So Pasi is saying that person should not even ask.
No, he
It
should.
seems like that's what.
Jasmine, do you have someone in your life? Because I'm thinking about being in your life.
Inakaa
So,
yeye
Bishop
akae
is saying,
committed to
But
his
you see,
goal.
those are now private conversations that they will have, and we don't even know whether she'll answer yes or no. You know, depending on how vile ametetemeshwa na huyo jamaa, you know, after he has come into view, maybe she had heard with the hearing of the ear that there are good people out there, but now her eyes have seen, you know, and she says, why did I rush to say yes, you know? So anyway, I think on a light, no, not on a more serious note, the person who wants to get into a relationship most likely sees the person they're interested in, and for them, that is the only person that exists. And so in their mind, they make up their mind, I will pursue her, if it's a guy, I'll pursue her with everything that I have. If there is anyone else that is interested, you know, it is only because she does not understand how interested I am in her and how disinteresting everybody else will appear after I
After
happen
she
on
hears
her.
my proposal.
That is a man's point of view. You see, for me, once I saw Maggie, I didn't care who else is interested in her.
Exactly.
Behold, I will be revealed. And once I'm revealed to her, her eyes will behold me. And the rest will be history.
Exactly.
And that is the story of conquest.
But, you know, Pasi, wacha tu nikuanike kidogo niseme, at least you have told us before, you and Maggie, by the time you were dating, you were not yet a bishop. You are not a man of God.
So that is allowed.
So tunaweza sema
Kuna
maybe in your
kawazi.
context, maybe that is allowed in certain contexts out there. Lakini hapa kwa nyumba ya Mungu, you know, and you know how we always preface this with, you know, we are dating for marriage. Nini. So we're assuming this chick, by the time she was saying yes to this guy, she had seen a future or hoped for a future with this guy.
Yeah.
Then she's just settled in that relationship, she's in love. Alafu maybe umemkuta time mbaya, you know, maybe a year in the relationship, kamoto kamekuwa kidogo.
Dopamine zimeshuka.
But it doesn't mean he doesn't love that guy. Then umetoka kwenye umetoka. Sasa mimi unakuja na
Unamchanganya
it's not that you
kidogo.
don't know. Wacha
Yeah.
tusiseme, wewe pia Bishop anasema it could be that the guy doesn't know him, he's just seen a hot chick and he wants the chick.
Yes.
Let's assume umse anajua vizuri sana that Nani is dating Nani. But mimi hapo kuna covenant. Hata nimesoma Biblia sijaona covenant. So me I'm just saying I want this chick. But you see, we're in the house of God.
What
We are
you
brothers
doing
and
to a
sisters
fellow
in
brother?
Christ. Msichana unaweza kumempata in a bad spot. Me I'm insisting maybe she would have been committed to the guy, but wewe kuja umempata akiwa cool off, unataka kwanza confuse
Kuasha hiyo nini. Na
her
inakuanga confusing.
standing. Is that fair for that girl? That's a perspective ya huyu msichana.
I think the question of intention is very important.
Yeah.
You've just said anakuja ku confuse huyu msichana. You see, if that is his intention, that I mean to say, don't confuse this girl.
No,
But if you are sure,
you're confusing so that you can get her.
but get her
you
for
have
what?
to for
No,
your
your
life.
your pursuit
For a
of-
wife.
Your pursuit for her
If
is
I'm
what is
pursuing her for my
confusing.
wife, is a legitimate concern. You see, my concern at that point is not the other guy getting a wife, it's me getting a wife. So why would I consider, you know, but of course, marriage is selfish.
With that.
If I want to get
You're
married,
looking for a
can you
lifelong
imagine?
partner for yourself, not for
You
the
know,
world.
can you imagine, you know, for argument's sake, if you know, Maggie had been in a relationship with somebody else and I'm so considerate of the other guy, where would I be today? You don't think like that when you're in a relationship. I did not think like that. I wanted a wife, and she was the wife I wanted, and now I got her. And lo and behold, we are happily ever after.
Maybe that's not the life.
But Bishop, your scenario was a little different.
Yeah.
You see, there's a difference between a guy coming, hitting, okay, a guy or a girl, depending. But for instance, because I'm a girl, I'm going to use the situation of a guy coming to hit on a girl who is in a relationship. Yours is slightly different. Pastor Maggie then wasn't in a relationship, but there was a guy
Who was interested?
who was hovering around, showing some interest, ukaona, ukajua wacha hapa ni changamke
Changamke,
mapema, and you uka up your game. That's understandable. But for someone who is coming to, and I use this word, sabotage, a relationship that's already been in existence, Nico, come on, where's the Christ?
Why are you using words like
Brotherly
sabotage?
love.
I
You're
think this
skewing
is...
the view of the
Intentionally,
viewers.
I use them
Intentionally by
intentionally
your
so
fans.
because that's what you're doing to a relationship.
No, I think the question of intention is really important. Like
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
he's not coming to sabotage. He has seen somebody who is potentially a wife to him. So he's
Yeah.
coming to salvage and to rescue so that he may marry, so that he may marry this girl.
Ni
Who,
hizo angles ulikuwa unasema, from whose eyes are we looking at this thing?
it's very important.
see.
From the guy who will be mwenye atwaslaisiwa from, semaje, the one who is dating the chick, from his angle it's sabotage. From the angle of the guy who is coming for the chick now,
It's
it's
rescue.
salvage.
Yes.
From the eyes of the
Who
girl
told you
who
that?
is being
But Lo, who even said that this
who
chick
is
is in
being
distress?
sliced and
But
it's
who even-
confusion. You're causing my heart
But now-
confusion. Me, I just want
But you know, in all this conversation, you guys, what about this girl? Why is nobody talking
That's
about
what
the
I'm
girl who has
wondering.
been quote unquote confused?
Abandoned.
Because
Yes, I
she
like
has
that
a
perspective.
mind of her own.
Yeah.
She
Cognitive
has,
functions.
I mean, she has a
No, but you
decision to
see,
make.
Really, me, I was saying. That's why I mean I insist in context. Yeah.
She's not innocent.
No, she's not innocent,
not.
but
Eh.
she might be.
Why?
I mean,
How?
we are humans,
But I
we
mean,
have hearts.
by the time
Ulikuwa
Bishop
na
is
amani
using-
mtu akakuja, hukukuwa na ubaya. Like even after useme slicewa, later you will think about it and be like, you know, Bishop likes to use the example of King Saxes. Mwenye alisema after some time he thought about
Vashti.
Vashti.
Alifikiria.
Because ulichanganywa Julie. It wasn't
some
that your
point,
brain
sindio,
was not working.
uliconfusiwa,
You
yes.
uliconfusiwa.
Hapana, you allowed yourself to be
You
confused.
made it.
You opened that door, ukakubali kuchanganywa.
The fact that she's sliceable
Sliceable
means
is
she's
a girl.
available for
Yes.
and it means she's
Yeah, I'm
probably
sorry,
not
Lord.
happy where she is, and
Lord.
hence the rescue.
And what we're saying is, it's not sinful for her to be available at that stage.
Come on.
That's what I mean. That's my perspective.
bullet
Because Jasmine
exam.
is giving pressure
I see
to.
sin right in front of my
let me
eyes.
let me use Mike and McKenna. Jasmine is giving pressure to McKenna to look like she's in a marriage and she's not. By the time you're telling McKenna, the church knows, the people know,
How is
the
that
doctors
pressure?
know, the watchmen know. That should not
How
count
is that
because
pressure? It's the truth,
the objective
Reverend
state
Lovey.
is, even if the Pope knows, the objective state is at that point you are not married. Neither are you betrothed. So you are available for a counter
Okay,
proposal.
be that as it may, someone said, no one will come and wave a magic wand over you the day you get married, and then suddenly you can play by the rules. Are we not trying to strengthen muscles for what is coming ahead? Sasa, on this side, if McKenna decides she's not, she's not bound to
There's
anyone.
no covenant.
Granted,
Yeah.
hakuna covenant, lakini ana need to strengthen her heart for what is
Because
coming
kuna wengi
in the
watataka
future.
kupita na yeye hata
Even
akifika the
when
other
you're
side
married.
of life.
But you can't
Yeah.
use the language of playing by the rules because the marriage rules and the dating rules are very
different,
different.
yes.
So you can't start playing by marriage rules on the dating
When you're
side
dating.
because then in what way are you exploring the possibilities of marriage?
But which rules are these?
I was going to ask
There
that.
has to be a capacity to explore, because this person may either be suited for you or not suited for you.
Yeah.
How do you make that decision? If you are already locked into this person, I must marry.
But
You
Bishop,
must,
you use the word explore. Why not explore in other? Why is this specific one that is in existence that people are... She was minding her business, happy, amesweepiwa off her feet. Hiyo ndio unataka.
No. Now, I think...
Motive yako ni vile unaona kama
When you say that it is in
and
existence...
Bishop used the word
Explore
conquest.
elsewhere.
Unataka confirm that you are a man above
No, we are talking
the
about...
other man.
Do you see the words were?
Yes.
I think you're
The
getting
words
you're
were-
getting confused here.
The words were
Yeah.
conquest,
Yeah.
salvage.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about my presence.
It's not even the man exploring. It's you giving yourself the freedom
To be explored.
to explore.
Yes, we're not even talking about the
Not
the
the man. You, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you've always been a ministry girl, and then you've been dating Mike for 2 years, and the man cannot even comprehend scripture. But you like the fact that he buys you chocolates every now and then. Then Jack comes and you flow theologically, and he also buys chocolate.
And you realize
You see,
this
that's
man
an
can lead
upgrade.
me spiritually.
Yeah, that's an iPhone 12.
By the
Why
way,
are you
you
stuck
use
to the
kama
iPhone 6?
example.
So
No,
what,
no, no.
Leo nimekataa.
what I'm saying is, at that juncture, nobody should fault you for saying,
Yeah.
I have seen what Jack has to offer, and I know what Mike has to offer, and because the freedom I'm allowed by God, because I'm not in a marriage covenant, I want to explore the freedom to move, to end my relationship with Jack,
Yeah.
and to start a relationship
Okay, so what
with
you're
Mike.
saying
Otherwise,
is that
that's-
Jack
Yeah.
anaweza kukuita, anajua vizuri sana you're dating Mike, then aku side chat mahali akuulize, Lorraine, are you free on Tuesday evening? And it happens you're free and you're a Christian, so you don't lie, you say you're free. And then he says, can I take you out
But-
to Rivers for coffee?
Yes.
And then what you gentlemen are saying here is that I'm dating, so I can, date around and see.
No.
No.
That's not what
That's
you're
different.
saying.
The decision to go with Jack or Mike is purely the girl's responsibility.
Yeah.
But you see, you cannot fault Jack for asking you out.
Exactly.
Because he saw a girl he's interested in, and he has no way of gauging,
Yeah.
whether Mike. I mean, there are people who have very platonic relationships with the opposite sex, and they can be friends for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And then she meets somebody she falls in love with and marries. So I don't know whether that's the kind of relationship you're having.
Yeah.
And at the point,
You don't know.
no,
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's not even in my interest. Because by the time I'm coming for you, I'm hoping you're not in that kind of relationship. In fact, I'm
Hapana,
hoping that you're in a platonic
Hapana.
friendship, so that at the point that I approach and say, can I take you out, and you say yes, that is the first signal that, well, she probably might be interested in me.
Exactly.
And then she comes out for a date, and she doesn't tell me, outrightly, hey, by the way, I'm in a relationship, when assuming that I'm going to voice my interest. At the point that I voice my interest that I'm interested in you, and you don't tell me that you're in a serious relationship, therefore you're not available, I can only assume you're also exploring and saying, there is a possibility.
Bishop,
yeah.
mimi kwanza niko na akapana there. Because, Bishop, you're painting a picture ati by the time you're coming to pursue this girl na nini, ati you don't know her past, you don't know her present. Mimi niko interested na wewe. But truth is, when a guy is coming to you, anakuanga stalking is the word. Akuanga amekuulizia kwa mabeshte kwa friend, akona info you did not know akonayo. So you saying ati by the time you're coming, hata utaki kujua, na kama hata alikuwa na uwe uko unajua. I feel like that's to some extent is not true.
Even if you know.
Even if I know.
Okay,
But
what does my knowing, what does my knowing that you're in a relationship have to do with my interest in you?
That's
My
okay.
question is, unajua unaweza kuwa na interest na mimi. Kama mimi ni mrembo, I can understand why,
Yeah.
What should I
why
do about
men
it?
should be, thinking they want me.
Yeah.
My question to you is, should I, if you ask me to come for coffee, and I'm dating, say we're in the same community, should I say yes or no?
It is up to you.
That's
To
your
that coffee
prerogative.
date.
That's
It is
now
up to
you're
you.
up
That's
to
what
the
I'm
You
lady.
see, that is up to
Yes.
No, I think what we are discussing here, I mean, all of us have always known it's my prerogative to know whether I'll go for
Go,
coffee with
yeah,
someone or
or
not.
not, yeah.
But it sounded like what these gentlemen are saying here is that the girl should be open to considering another man.
Absolutely.
Because she's not bound by a covenant.
Lo, I'm
which
with
is
you
why
on
my
that.
question to Bishop and Lovi is,
And Julie.
are you saying that it is okay
Yeah.
No.
for McKenna to come for coffee?
Of course.
Would
If
she
she
be
wants
wronging
to.
anyone?
Let
Would
me-
she be wronging God or her church community
No,
or
no.
her
She
boyfriend
would.
No.
to come for coffee?
She's free to go for coffee. In fact, at the point she goes for coffee, she might have decided in her heart, which we don't know at this point,
Yeah.
that this other relationship is probably not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm now open to go for coffee with Jack and Mike, and maybe that might yield more results in the long term. Because again, I don't want us to have you're not stuck to marry the person that you're dating.
Yeah.
That's not, because then you'd not be open. If you started dating, that's it, you're locked.
Yeah.
We expect you to go until the marriage date. But that's not how life works. You may start dating, and even 3 months down the road, you realize,
Yeah.
I don't think we are flowing as much as I thought.
Yeah.
And if Mike appears at that
break
point
up.
and asks you out for coffee,
break up fast.
it's a free country. Please go have coffee.
Yeah.
There might be a better future over there.
I actually think I think we are looking at the wrong person here and the wrong perspective. The issue really here is not the guy asking McKenna out. The issue here is McKenna.
Yes.
Because Mike and Jack both have a
fair chance.
prerogative
Yeah.
to pursue. They're doing their mandate of pursuing.
They're
Both
seeking
of them,
spouse.
their mandate is to
Yeah.
pursue. So
No,
they're both
Mike did
pursuing.
his mandate. He pursued, and we are assuming McKenna. Kwani McKenna, that times there were still gentlemen around. And
So she
McKenna
said
chose,
yes to Mike.
and dating here, I imagine in our society, in our culture,
Right.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's not in other societies and cultures. Dating is ndakuja
Going
nikam
out for
coffee na
coffee.
Okay,
wewe have
so
coffee,
so
we have
also
coffee.
here, the assumption, Lorraine, is that by the time Mike and McKenna started dating, they established that
Yes.
it's exclusive.
Yeah.
You sat down and had a conversation
Sindio.
and established
Is
that,
that
it's
not what we
exclusive.
do?
Yeah.
That
Then-
is fine. So if a guy comes from outside, Mike shouldn't pick an issue with that guy. He should pick an issue with McKenna.
Because McKenna should.
Because that other guy is doing his
Mike was not there when you
Mike was
established an
not there.
My
exclusive
question
relationship.
Fighting
is,
with McKenna.
mimi hapo, I'm with you all the way.
Eh.
What I feel I'm disagreeing with Lovie and Bishop is, it's like what they're implying is Mike shouldn't be offended.
He should be
Because this
offended.
be
girl
offended
is
with McKenna.
still
Yeah.
their game.
Yeah.
I don't know, that phrase
Hey,
is
Lo, you-
good.
He should be
but
offended
Don't
with
even.
Lorraine. He should be offended with both McKenna and the other guy. If maybe the other guy they had a relationship with.
But is it sinful that
No.
McKenna decided to go for coffee?
It's
Is it
not.
wrong?
No.
No?
The question of right and wrong doesn't arise in my opinion.
But it doesn't arise.
Let me say in the point again, it's the season of dating. I think we want to make it to raise it to a level that it doesn't belong, and that is what I'm opposed to. The day that girl wears an engagement ring, now that's what I call exclusive. She shouldn't even go out for that date, because what is she going there to do? And she's already been identified and even
Yeah.
betrothed. But in the case of Mike, who's dating this girl, and she's being asked out, you see, once a man starts going out with a lady, the mandate is not just, when the Lord was giving the land to the Israelites, they were to enter and to possess. The mandate to possess is the ability to persist in that relationship in a convincing way to persuade us that you are worthy of the gift that you have received. Okay? So when I start dating my girl, I must keep her in a place where she is completely convinced that I am still the man.
Yeah.
But if she starts going out to coffee huko, she's probably an anishuku. And I wonder, I'm not all that she thought I was. Therefore, she's open to explore other possible relationships. It's even worse. It's even worse if we had already covenanted, agreed to be exclusive, and she's still going. Then I think I'm the problem, not her.
Wait,
So-
because Bishop anakaa kama haekelei the girl any blame.
Mimi
If McKenna
nafeel,
chooses
yeah.
to go out for a date,
Inaka it's
Bishop's
right.
assumption is mwenye shida ni Mike. Mike is not convincing enough to McKenna, so McKenna is considering coffee dates with
That must
Jack.
be the issue.
So
At
yes,
least thinking from a
But-
point of view as a guy, that's what I would
there
think.
could be an issue of
Yeah.
tabia tu mbaya.
Na kama ana tabia mbaya, then what am I doing
and
with
you know
her?
why I want to bring that angle is that we consider the other way. You are dating your guy, and then this chick decides this is not a covenant. Me, I want this guy.
She flashes a
And
smile.
then she flashes a smile.
It's a
and
free country.
Smiling is not illegal in the state of...
Decides she wants to turn the attention of your guy to herself. Now, you see, as far as we know in our society and culture, it is men who pursue. So, your man decides, I'm also not in a covenant. So, see, I also ask out to meet a man in Jerry. Jerry. I go for coffee with her and see, maybe there's something here. How would you take that?
I would actually let it be, because if he found it fit to go with Njeri, aende akiendanga.
Would you have issue with Njeri?
Kanyage kubwa kubwa.
No, I wouldn't have an issue with Njeri. I'd have an issue with this guy.
You wouldn't have issue with Njeri seducing your guy?
Njeri sees a hot guy she likes. That's her problem.
Hapana.
I have no issue to be with Njeri. I have no issue to be with Njeri.
We hapa tuko disagreed. Nani ako na issue? Ona. Kuna
Issue ni huyu jamaa hapa.
Mimi niko na shida. Mimi niko na issue na jamaa sikatai. But pia niko na issue na Njeri.
Njeri pia yeye.
But sasa wewe hauna commitment na Njeri. Hakuna promises mliambiana, oh I love you till death do us
but
part.
mbona na disrespect kitu tuko nayo?
Then get
You
married.
never had a sister covenant with Jerry. The day I identify a guy, you are not to come anywhere near.
Alafu,
Ona,
my question is, why would I pick an issue with Njeri? Because this guy is how helpless. Alikuwa tu amekaa, yani he's helpless.
We have an issue with the guy as well.
We surely have issue with the guy.
Absolutely.
For sure we have issue with the guy. Even
Yes.
we are not going to continue dating him maybe.
But Njeri pia.
But pia Njeri anafaa kubeba mzigo ya like I said, humans have hearts. All humans, even those who look tough, have
So
hearts.
the
Hearts that can be
even those.
convinced.
But
So tunasema,
But how
mimi
weak is he?
nasema, mimi I have this full picture of we date for marriage. Hopefully for marriage. It might get there, it might not.
Yes.
Whatever happens will happen. But our hope and desire is that we are headed here.
Yes.
So if we're going to get to a relationship someday where you're supposed to respect boundaries as Njeri, why don't you as Njeri start learning how to respect boundaries of people who are exclusive?
Now.
Why at this point do you think it is okay for you to seduce the guy, but akisha sasa utasema now I'm not seducing? Njeri will continue. If Njeri has that behavior, she will continue. May I have issue with Jack, or Mike, whoever this
I
guy
think
that
the
I'm
ba-
dating, for sure that one has issue.
To-
But Njeri,
to agree with Rev Julie, Njeri is in a different state of her life. She's single, she's searching, she has no boundaries to respect. The person who should respect boundaries is Mike and McKenna. So the one who should be building a muscle of respecting boundaries is Mike or McKenna. And if they're not respecting the boundaries, that means the boundaries did not exist in the first place. So it is unfair for you to put Njeri in a situation that she is not in, and to put covenants and boundaries on her life that she's not bound by.
And again, I think we are being a bit idealistic,
Yeah.
because the real world doesn't operate that. We're in
Yeah.
community, we know each other, we love each other. Even in
Don't
the same
hurt each
church,
other, yeah.
a lot of people who sit next to you are strangers to you. You actually don't know much about them.
Yeah.
And when you can't prevent people from sitting down and looking at each other and liking each other. You can't do that, you know. And once they do that and they like each other, again, you can't police where they go, where they don't go.
It's
If
true.
they ask for coffee, you know, during that, and it could be hata labda chai watakunywa tu hii tunapatiananga hapa kwa swimming
After
pool.
service.
You know, a word will be thrown. And you see, once some chemistry has started developing,
Yeah.
it would be foolhardy to, I mean, I'm saying that. I knew how I was when I saw Maggie. And there was no force on earth that would have stopped me from pursuing her. You know, there isn't. It doesn't exist. It still doesn't, you know. And you see, my intentions in pursuing her is not like, even if there was to be somebody else, I wasn't doing that to spoil for them. I was doing that because this is the girl I wanted.
Bishop, I
And then-
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I'm not against feelings and emotions developing. I'm not against that. But there's something that you can do about that when you acknowledge here is an existent relationship. Tame them. Go out there, find a girl. There's so many girls that are not in relationships.
unaongea
There's
as
so
who?
many. Mimi,
wewe ni nani kwa hii relationship?
Mimi, anyone.
Observer,
Even
independent
the
observer.
observer. Even
Okay.
the observer.
Okay.
Even the observer, enda nje, tafuta.
Then we
Mwingine
have
mwenye
to
yuko kwa hii
define that a
relationship.
little bit better,
Yeah.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
If then you're saying, and I would agree with what you're saying, if we are members of the same real group, okay? There's a certain understanding and a certain value system that we share. all right? I know this is Jasmine, I know this is so-and-so, I know we know each other. And we even know, we've shared deeply. And then you're in a relationship. Obviously, I would not expect somebody within that group to try and get you when you're already relating to somebody that they already know. That now, we can talk about honor. Because now, it's a homogeneous group.
Bishop, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Why is this honor being applied partially? Because that other person is still a child of God. Why is this not honor going all the way? Why is it partial?
How homogeneous does a group homogeneous? Because even Mamlaka Hill Chapel Ruaka is a homogeneous group of people.
Absolutely.
In life, at every stage, there are different levels of commitment to everyone. There's a commitment I have to you guys because we are friends and we are colleagues that I will not give someone out there. Today, if you ask me, Lovey, give me some 2K, I won't think about it. I would give you the 2K. If I'm driving on...
After this, I hope you will live up to your word.
Yeah, he said it in public, so I guess you can...
See, I'll just know how to get it from. I'll ask the bishop for 5K. That'd be very free. But if I'm driving, then someone just comes to the window and says, give me 2K. Your reflex reaction is almost to close the window because there's no social contract that exists between you.
Even if they tell you I'm a believer, give me 2K. You don't owe them.
What has that
you don't owe them.
do with this?
I know.
I'm supporting the point here, Bishop. Yeah, at every level there's a social contract that you have with people at different levels. There's one that you have with your spouse, and there are things I can give Julie that I can't give everyone because of the level of commitment that I have to her. That is exclusive at that level. So you can't say, at the concern I have for Julie, I should have for everyone in the world because
since they're children of God.
Your decision to marry Deno has hurt a child of God somewhere else. Because Deno is not an ugly person. I'm sure there are 2 or 3 other damsels who are in pain the day you are getting married. How come you did not consider the children of God and stop marrying Deno? Because in life, it's not your work to insulate everyone from their pain.
But
sometimes you just have to allow people to do their journey.
Christ's love and honor permeates past that. Finances we can understand, but Christ's love and honor, which is what I am calling for this relationship.
Can I talk to you about Christ? Christ himself, before he died, he refused publicly to give healing to a Gentile. Do you remember?
Yeah.
The Syrophoenician woman.
I'll never take the children's food and give it
to the dogs. Those are the words of Christ. Because at that time, he healed her, and it was a function of grace, but he made the position known. At that time, he had come for the children of Israel. This was an exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
There was a privilege that the people of Israel had by virtue of being children of God for years that gave them the first right of refusal to the gospel before the grace was extended to the Gentiles. So you can't say by him comparing the Gentiles to dogs that he was being unfair. He wasn't. Because at that time, the contract was for...
That was a true position.
Yeah, that was a position.
And the truth is, if you are to go saying, oh, are you in an exclusive relationship with anyone?
Exactly.
Sorry, I can't date you. I like you. I like you, but I won't date you.
I mean... Last point. Look at the story of the gospel. We preach God is love, and God is fully love, and God doesn't function out of love. Yet we preach and we say that there will be a day of judgment where some will not be allowed to enter into the kingdom of God. That will be a right that is exclusive for children. I mean, God is love, but God does not have a contract for an unbeliever to allow that unbeliever to enter into the kingdom of God. So,
mimi na agree na illustration. Lakini sioni venye zinafika hapa kwa hii point. And this is what I want to say.
Are we calling this guy the unbeliever, the Gentile? Who is he?
Wait. 2 Fridays ago, we talked about predating etiquette. Bishop, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
Nah, part of predating. Now, wanaume hapo wakasema.
I said we shouldn't refer to boyfriends as exes. They have not acquired that right.
That's right. Sawa. Lakini wakati we were talking about predating etiquette, wanaume wakajisema venye wanakuanga wame research, because you saw the chick. You didn't just come out of nowhere and saw a pretty chick and that afternoon ukamwambia twende. Uliuliza, this dude anakuanga place, ukamuuliza, unajua dem, what's her name? Nini. And for sure, if she is dating someone in that community, mtu alikwambia, huyo, she has someone. So you know. You as Jack or you as Njeri, umeshaulizia na unajua. So when you're coming, don't pretend that there's no honor. I need to keep on respect because me, I didn't know. You know, and you decided that Sunday afternoon, nitaenda hapo kwa poolside na nitajipresent so that I can shake her or him out of that. Have you seen that meme? Ati umewahi pita kando ya watu ukasikia ukishake the roots of their relationship. Have you ever seen that meme? Inauma if you are the one in that relationship when someone is passing and shaking the roots of your relationship.
Let's say this.
Watu waache tabia mbaya.
Hapana. No.
Milo niko na wewe, watu waache tabia mbaya.
Na watu mimi nitasema watu waache insecurity. Unaona? Watu waache insecurity. Every relationship must be tested. How will you know the commitment of this man, if you're a woman, to you, if they have never been tested?
Exactly.
And if you've relied on a bubble that there has never been a threat in this relationship, therefore I am safe. Supposing one day there's a real threat, how do you know whether he will stand? I'm in
agreement with you there, but I'm saying children of God, don't do that to each other.
That's what I
Unajua, easy tests are going to come nonetheless. But let us not do that with each other here. Wacha watu wa shetani, I'm sorry to say.
All right. No.
Unbelievers, wakwe na that tendency of testing and whatever. But let us not, as children of God, put each other to the test like that, because they can keep insisting. Your heart is a heart.
I agree with you on one point. Okay, you know, there are always exceptions to the rule. We normally say, as believers, we are supposed to be subservient and obedient to those in authority, government authority. But we also know that there are exclusions when you cannot obey the government authority. Why? Because at this point, they are commanding what God forbids. Okay? So you are going to say no. Even when you do that, your intention is not to defy government. It is to obey God. All right? So if I'm coming for this girl, not so that I dishonor the man, but it's so that I acquire a wife. You know, the intention is very different. I didn't do it. You can't say that, why were you dishonoring the guy? I never dishonored you. I just saw a woman that I wanted to marry, and indeed...
No, you did dishonor, but as a
it wasn't my intention.
By the way.
It wasn't my intention at all. Look, I saw a girl that I fell in love with and I wanted to marry. Indeed, I went for her and persuaded her that I am not all that bad. And I ended up marrying her. So my intentions cannot be questioned. I didn't do it for malice. I didn't do it to spoil for somebody else. I did it for me. Because this is the person I saw I can live the rest of my life with. And I pursued, and indeed, it came to pass. You know, and the Lord's blessings have been upon us ever since. For many years.
Guys, mimi nimewezwa na hii topic. Mimi nimewezwa na hii topic. We are taking a break. We are taking a break.
Wapatie hiyo opportunity alafu.
Hapana, we are taking a break. Tukunywe maji. We need to cool down. See you in a few.
Sawa.
Far beyond the sky, where the suffering's over, get my wings and fly. When Jesus says it's over, oh, what joy that will be, where it's no more dreaming, I'll behold at last. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky. Sometimes I lose direction, Satan clouds my mind, but Jesus stands to remind me that I'm a pass out through. Instead of losing heaven, I must look to the day where it's no more I'll be home at last. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, 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 Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of a city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky. Nimengoja hilo jiji, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. Nimengoja hilo jiji, Jerusalem, nyumbani juu mbinguni. I've been dreaming of the city, Jerusalem, 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 Jerusalem. I've been dreaming of the city, Jerusalem, my home right up in the sky.
Hupimwi kwa siku, hupimwi kwa miaka, unatafsiri majira, huzuiwi na muda, umejawa na nguvu, ndiyo maana nakuita Baba. Moyoni mwangu najawa sifa na ujasiri katika wewe, hakuna mlima wa kuniangusha. Ndani yako ninasimama, misitekete, siangamii, sigarikishwi, upo nami, misitekete, siangamii, sigarikishwi, upo nami. Nimezungukwa nawe kila pande, hakuna jambo la kuniangamiza. Majeshi yalo upande wangu ni mengi sana kuliko hawa dunia. Hatua zangu zaongozwa nawe, siangamii, siteketei, katika wewe ninasimama, siteketei na ninadumu, siteketei, siangamii, sigarikishwi, upo nami, misiteketei, siangamii, sigarikishwi, upo nami, misiteketei, siangamii, sigarikishwi, upo nami, misiteketei, siangamii,
Aki guys, karibuni sana.
Yeah.
Karibuni sana from the break. I can tell you we haven't cooled down at all. But you know, I think your comments will bring some sanity here. So Reverend Lorraine,
Yes.
tusomee chenye watu wanatuambia.
Aya. So I'll pick and choose. There are many, so I'll pick and choose. I'll start with you, Charity. Charity is saying, Ati, is it those ones of let the best man win only because hakuna ring on the finger? She's asking. Now your ring on the finger, Bishop Ali mentioned at some point, we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Aya, Akina Hortensia and Carissa saying that the word we are using is, we are looking for is slicing.
Slicing.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Slicing. Charity anasema those guys who come with guns blazing. Anakuja tu ulikuwa tu na amani. Mtu anakuja Kafi says kukubafua. Aya, Kafi says you can't go by marriage rules while dating. Ongeza volume, Bishop. Hapana. Kafi hapo we shall revisit. Kevin says, Bishop, I agree with you. The dating rules and marriage rules are different. If girl 2 blows me away, then I will sincerely leave girl 1. Guys, why would I continue with girl 1 if my interests are gone?
I hope I'm not permitting things that are disallowed.
We clarified, it's not for marriage.
Yeah.
It's not for marriage.
Yes.
Tunaongelea
Not
dating
marriage,
hapa.
dating, yes.
So
Yes.
even Kevin anaongea kwa hii discussion akisema
yes.
girl, anasema if one, amesema if
Girl.
girl.
Yeah.
Girl one,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
We know
aya,
Kevin.
Emma
We
says,
know Kevin.
Rev Julie, mimi nimekupata. You can't fault the outsider because enyewe hauna agreement with them. Na hakuna mtu anakataa. Hakuna mtu anakataa. Tunasema tu the heart will pain. And you will, kwani baggage na background utoka wapi? In fact, we shall ask that question
That's a
later.
good nini. That's a good
Si ni watu
question.
kufanyana hivi kwa maisha.
Ni hizi mavitu.
Aya. Kevin says, preach, Bishop, enter and possess.
Bishop umeharibu watu.
Si ndio? Huwezi kujifanya ati hivi I'm helpless.
Yeah.
Show the girl that you are the man and keep her interested in you.
Kevin tells Charity, uta recover and hopefully with the right person. I open up the avenue so you can get better elsewhere.
Oh my God.
Okay, sawa. Kuna
Akiwa
mwenye ako na
wetu.
point hapo. Sema uta recover na uende with the right person. Hey, Reverend Noel, you are here. Thank you for joining us. And he says, there is no covenant in dating with an exclamation mark.
Here.
Has come from
Aya.
He has come from abroad.
Charity says, Kevin, you know, as girls, maybe this being our downfall, we date for marriage.
marriage.
So maybe hii shida pia ni ya wasichana. Maybe
We also
in
date-
fact,
we also date for
maybe if
marriage.
men date for fun, they have to date for
We
marriage.
date for marriage.
Hakuna. Not with those conditions.
Haikai.
For the men.
Haikai.
Not with those
So
conditions
far,
that you hold.
so far haikai.
Aya. Emma says, naelewa Reverend Lovi lakini inauma. Inauma sana. Inauma. Emma asks, assurance ya kudate ni nini basi? And this is my question.
Sawa.
Assurance ya kudate ni nini?
Front
what
of
is
the
even-
queue.
You see,
What
that's,
is even dating?
that's the challenge. You're looking for assurance in dating that you'd only get in marriage.
Exactly.
Hapana,
You know-
But how
ngoja,
do you
Bishop
get
Bishop
there,
ataanza
Tutarudi?
kumake
Aki.
case.
Dating is, no.
Bishop-
Dating is not assured. Hakuna assurance kwa dating. Hiyo ni exploration. Unafanya, you are exploring. Umeenda kutafuta mafuta, ngamia 1 imekosa mafuta haina, unatoka huko unaenda ngamia 2. One of them you will hit oil and that's where you stay. You know. Lakini huwezi kusema
Kwani oil ni nini? What is this you're looking for? Ati you will hit oil.
oil
Bishop.
is a person that you've been seeking as a soulmate. You know, it doesn't mean that everybody you date is a possible soulmate. A possible. They may not be the one.
Bishop ana raise hapa
But-
vitu mingi.
Ana-
I'm just
mob
saying-
sana na ninasikia
Tumalize hizi
kuanzisha.
comments ama tu
Maliza
move on?
comment. Aki,
Mimi
maliza
hata
comment.
tunataka tu jump
Can I
on
give-
that before we
Can I give you
forget.
an assurance?
I am listening.
Can I give you an assurance? You're in front of the queue, but there's a queue.
Ati you're in front of the queue, but there's a queue.
Yeah.
No,
When you get married, there's no
you are
queue.
number one in front of
I mean,
others.
you can come to my room and eat rice and beans. You can text me at midnight. Not everyone can do that. But
Hiyo ndio
there's a
inamaanisha
queue.
kuwa number one on the queue.
Yeah,
Unaweza
but there's a
unaweza-
queue.
Haya.
Wacha tusome comments.
Kevo anaambia Emma bado roho hupona ukipata a sweeter person later. So utaumia lakini
As if
utapona.
as if
And the Lord is
As if
gracious.
uko
As if
promised a
it's
sweeter
promised.
person. Maybe unaweza kaa unmarried
Sweeter person
forever.
was the one who
You
was
spend
having
your
their-
life watching and waiting for that marriage to fall. Alafu Alafu inakuwa kama Bishop na Reverend Wangi, they remain married forever.
Tunaambiwa 30 years later they are still together.
And they prosper. And they get beautiful children. The children are not even...
They are beautiful, they are prospering.
They're honored in the city and the countryside.
Na wewe mwenye uliacha ulibaki hapo ukisema I know hakuna mtu mwenye anaweza nifanyia hivi na God allow us prosper. Their downfall is coming. Alafu unaishi hapo 30 years later.
Instead of falling.
Na heaven mnaenda pamoja. Tutaishi aje heaven? Mimi nauliza
instead of falling, the guy becomes a pastor.
I think that's why we didn't
I think that's why instead of falling, the guy becomes a pastor. And in fact, a bishop.
And a bishop on top of that.
Go to them for prayer.
Imagine.
Life may unfair.
Your entire family goes to his church.
Your entire family. Wewe unakataa waelewi kwa nini hutaki kwenda hiyo kanisa.
You know how Lali's Job's friends, Kija Bildad, sijui who, they were speaking badly to him. Eventually Mungu anawaambia, Rudidi, you take goats and cows, go and sacrifice, and my servant Job will pray for you so that I may hear his prayers, and I will not deal with you according to your foolishness.
Sasa ndio huyo ndio bishop sasa.
Lazima tu repent guy.
Haya.
Life ni ngumu tu.
Kevo anasema if MC was the Njeri, the quote and quote Njeri, I would support your game ukichukua mtu. Si roho imependa. So roho ikipenda, unajua even the Bible says you cannot trust your heart. The heart of man is deceitful above all things. So msiseme hapa ati roho imependa. Abi says, hata mimi ni independent observer and I totally agree with Jazz. Enda huko nje utafute other free agents. Wachana na watu wenye wako committed.
Free agents ni wengi.
Nje ni wapi? Nipige from elsewhere. Hapo ndio na nje kwake.
Nje is relative.
Hapo ndio nje.
Enda Winners Chapel.
Enda Winners Chapel.
Ama Karura wa neighborhood.
He might have come from Winners. So you are nje for him. He's really outside.
Hapana, lobi wacha kufurahia hiyo.
This is the one.
Aya. Hey, where are we?
Kevin Moore.
Ati tuko wapi kwa Joe? Oh, Joe says, Joe says, I think this all stems to being your brother's keeper. Being your brother's keeper. Sijui Joe ni nani, lakini ametujoin hapa. Being your brother's keeper. If by chance you think that marriage is not a reality, then before hanging out with the next person, it would be courteous to speak about it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, we agree with Joe.
Your point ya brother's keeper nataka turudi hapo pia.
Rules of engagement we haven't talked about, but we agree with that. Very
It's just that at that point, the guy dating the girl I'm interested in is my adversary, not my brother.
Aya, Kevin says, Aki Revlorine, ati predating etiquette. The contract is formed when the parties are engaged and they say I do. Hapo mimi niko na swali. Ati anasema Bishop na Reverend Elvis Lovi wasikizwe kwa makini. No, we refuse.
That's very true.
Tutasikiza when they are preaching, not this one. This one. Aya, Mwau Andrew says, Mwau Karibu says, yes, Bishop Charles, every relationship has to be tested. If you're not rooted to your partner, then utabebwa. And if the Lord speaks and asks you to pursue someone, who are you to say no?
Here. You see, the man is called Andrew. And you know Andrew would bring people to Christ.
Imagine.
There are many more tests guaranteed in marriages and relationship. Don't be one of them.
Asikieni huyu Joe. Huyu Joe hapa akona content. Anasema lakini tusisahau our stewardship of the creation. Even Paul writing to the Romans urges the stronger brother to lay off their liberties for the sake of the weaker one.
Amen.
Yes. Hiyo ndio kesi yangu ya roho. Watu wako na hearts are hearts.
Mimi
watu wasaidiwe ku strengthen their hearts.
The next Homescapes.
Tutamuinvite.
We need him here.
Some healing balm there from Joe.
Karis says, hii story nikaa kuingia mata alafu inapata puncture. You just take the next one. No! You fix the matatu. You
fix the matatu na mnaendelea na safari.
Is not yours. The name of the owner of the matatu iko hapo kwa mlango hapo chini. John Njelo. But if it's my car, the logbook has my name. I have a commitment to the car to wait for the tire to puncture to be fixed.
But guys, now on a serious note, if we're discussing this and saying it's a possibility, or it's so far, the men strongly say it's appropriate. What
and
is
Julie
dating?
says she has no issue with the outsider who tries to tetemesha, to uproot.
So the
anatetemeshwa ndio akona shida.
So question is, I have a question then. What is dating?
What is dating? In fact,
What is dating and dating in a Christian context? And I remember actually both of you
Tulikuwa
at
na
some point
na
mulikuwa na
vitu za
mapoints.
Oh,
Eh,
okay.
Reverend-
Lovina Julia walikuwa na
and it's not
kusema.
even an original point. I picked it from Bishop. It's Proverbs that talks about the mystery of the way of a man with a maiden. So my problem with this argument is you're trying to be rational, where even God has allowed irrationality to exist. So you're trying to make black and white an area that has been left grey for a reason, even by scriptures. So we're just saying, let's not make a straight line where people have been given an option to explore, and let's not call a sin what has not been outrightly been sounded out by
Acha
scripture
tuseme
to be a
pia,
sin.
unaona, sawa, that line might be allowing, mystery and vagueness. However, there are other parts of scripture that call us to treat each other with honor, with respect. So
Which
we're
is
trying
what we
to
feel is
define this
absent.
mysterious space in our current society. How can we fill it with respect and honor and care and love and considering the other
Okay,
better
I'll
than
come and tell-
yourself,
I'll
all
come-
those things?
And I think
When-
and I feel like we are on two different we're on two different ends of the world, because we need probably the understanding of dating or what should happen in a dating
Might be
relationship
different in our
might be different from what we consider dating or what actually happens in our dating context. We should probably hear that first and then see kama tuko tutakuja
Pamoja. Maybe
pamoja.
tuna
Kama
argue
tunaweza
once give-
karibiana
I
kidogo.
want to give you an example of, employment. When somebody is being considered for a job, right? When you're being
Bishop,
considered for a job, you
your
remember
example.
that example.
Clearly.
In the interview process, before you are employed, the employer has no obligation he can't give you promises. He's just exploring to see whether you're a possible fit, and you're not the only candidate. Okay? So, to ask for exclusive treatment during the interview process is unfair, because you're not the only one that is a possibility. Because the employer is looking for the best possible fit, right? And a dating relationship is something like that. You're looking for the best possible fit. So you're not exclusive, whether you like it or
Therein
not.
lies the issue. Therein
You're not
Are
exclusive.
we exclusive or not? Bishop, I think that's where the difference is.
Okay, we are saying not yet. You only
We are
become
not.
exclusive, in my opinion, you become exclusive the day I engage you. Because I make a statement and say, you are the one.
Unajua,
Okay.
Bishop, Aki, that's where we are. That's why we need to define this dating
think
relationship, because I think
absolutely.
now we discover where our difference lies.
Yes.
Because
Because-
us we think dating is exclusive.
Because Nani,
No,
because
that
Bishop,
is
let's
just you
explain.
telling yourselves.
Let's-
Because it's not a requirement anywhere that you're the, and that's why I said we can't assume that every date you take out will end up in marriage. Many
No,
of them
I don't
don't,
think that's
and
what
that's
we
why they are
assume.
not
That's what we
exclusive.
assume, though.
You
That's
see,
what we-
isn't
You
that
know,
the
Bishop,
isn't that the point of dating, so that you find the best
No, you
possible
see,
fit?
Could it be that you mean, when you say dating you mean
Yes.
in terms of how watu wa majuu huwa wana date?
Going for
Because
coffees, I
coffee
pick you,
is
we go for a
actually going
picnic,
for a
that's
date.
it.
I've gone for a date with this one, this one, because I'm
No,
looking
I
for.
actually mean it way deeper. I
So
mean it. I
is-
mean that
is-
you and I are we are exploring a relationship that could lead to marriage.
Yes.
Could
But
lead,
are we
lead to
exploring
marriage.
it exclusively? Ama you're
Yeah, you are
exploring,
exploring
it
it
with me
exclusively.
and
Yeah.
also exploring it with Jasmine
With-
Oh,
and
no.
then
The
exploring
same
it with
exact
Julie.
Not
way.
simultaneously.
So see,
No.
That means you're being exclusive.
Yes,
so
and that's
dating
how
is
that's what we
exclusive.
define as exclusivity.
Well, I think that is a stretch of the imagination.
Well,
let me tell you why it is a stretch. You're going to date maybe for a while, and then you'll break up.
maybe.
And
Why
then,
not?
you might break up. Most people break up at one point in their lives. Let's be honest.
Sometimes they mend it.
It's not a perfect world. And in that breakup, some bounce back and become even deeper and go deeper, and then break up again, and then even go deeper, and then eventually marry. Some never survive the first breakup. After that breakup, kila mtu anajipa shughuli, because you realize that was a bad choice, that both of you made. You hoped it would lead to marriage. It's clear after dating that is not even the person for you. So that's not exclusive in that sense. It's just that in that period, in that season, you were serious about exploring each other, and that's why you came to the conclusion that you are not good for each other. And then you moved on, all right? So you can't expect them to continue being treated exclusively, after that, because you both moved on.
Of course you can't, but while you're in that space, you
Yes.
are exclusive with this person.
That's what we are talking about.
And let me tell you, because I really want to bring it to reality. This is not, I'm not recommending that this happens, but I'm saying we live in a real world, all right? In a real world, you're dating, you're going out with this person. One day, there's somebody seated in the next table, and this person can't stop staring at them. You have no idea why, okay? But something has happened to that individual. And in fact, from that point onwards, you realize it's like they've taken less interest in you. Because suddenly, there's somebody with whom they're connecting. And after that, they start having a conversation, they exchange numbers, and you realize they're calling the other person more than they're calling you. Okay? So what actually happened there? You can explain it anyway, but it could be that they just had fantastic chemistry together. And once they met that person, they realized, I'd rather go out with this person than this person. So, ukibeba machungu, usema, we were in an exclusive relationship. That person was never betrothed to you. They were exploring. And in the course of the exploring, they found somebody else who actually they were better connected to. And from that point onwards, they probably go on to date and to marry. You understand? So you can't bear a grudge that was supposed to be my husband. No, he wasn't, or my wife.
But your heart is not robotic. Lazima usikie uchungu. Hata kama uta move on.
It's true. I'm not saying there's no pain. There will be pain. And we said in human relationships, you cannot pain-proof your relationship.
Bishop, unajua I agree with you so far. I'm still stuck at, my issue is not I'll bear a grudge forever. That was supposed to be my husband or anything. People break up for many different reasons. But this particular one is because a whole individual, a whole Christ confessing, amekuja aka, my word is still sabotage. That's what I have an issue with. I'm not saying this dude, when I was dating them, I'm promised that I will marry them.
It's sure.
But let other things, or us finding out, and
we are not compatible, something has happened.
And people do that every time. People break up every other time because of such reasons. But it's not because someone else came, stepped in and messed that up.
In the case I've just described, this person did not actually come to break you up. He happened to be in the same restaurant where you were eating. Okay? And then you, the girl, saw this guy, and you couldn't take your eyes off him. You have no idea why. But something about him just, was very magnetic. And he ended up saying hi to you. Akisema hi, unasikia tu malaria tumepita kwa mwili na hujui kwa nini, and you don't feel malaria with this other one. So later on, he asked you for the number, you even give, where you live, your street, and he didn't ask for those ones. But there's something in them that you've latched on to, and somehow it ends up being that you're so connected, and that this person, you actually want to be exclusive with them. And when you are asked the same question, you don't feel the same way about this other person. So they didn't come there to sabotage your relationship. But once you saw them, something happened to you, and then one thing followed the other, and before you knew it, you could not continue dating this other person with a clear conscience because your feelings had changed. And they changed significantly that you feel when you're in this other individual, you're actually lying to them that you feel them. You don't feel them the same way. Okay? And the way you feel with the other person, you decide, actually, this is probably the person I should spend the rest of my life with. You can't blame yourself. There are some of those which are wiring issues, and there's just something in you and them that connects a certain way. Now, you can't say that aliniaribia, because even if he didn't come, it wouldn't have been the same with this other person.
So I agree with you, and I would rather that happens. I would rather I was with someone and they got interested in another person. Na ikakuwa tu ni hivyo. Rosafi doesn't like me anymore, it's over.
It's just life.
But it's a different case if that guy was fine, I was fine, and then a third party decided.
Bishop, that's our problem.
That's our problem. That we're too, as a Christian brother or a Christian sister, decided, I'm going to set my sights on this man who is dating
Let's
this girl.
Let's be specific. I
and
watched
try
Lorraine.
to get him to want me.
I watch Lorraine and they know Nicole. Wow.
I want that.
I want that.
Yeah.
And I'll go after
Yes.
that. That's where our issue is. In a restaurant na connection.
But what are you saying about the girl's ability to make a decision for herself?
No, and you see,
that is Julie's question.
Julie. Able to scare Reverend
That's still my
Julie.
question.
Yeah.
You're painting the party to be helpless, like they couldn't say no or they couldn't resist.
Are we though?
If an external factor didn't come in.
Let me ask you, why do we have issue with the devil?
With who?
The devil.
The devil.
Why do we have issues with the devil?
Because he's the devil.
He is the tempter. You are trying to live a Christian life.
But you
are
know,
trying to be
Lorraine,
committed to
Lorraine,
God. And then he comes.
And that's what Bishop was saying. Either way, there's going to be at his workplace. He doesn't work in church.
Yeah.
There'll still be someone out there who set her eyes on him or who has set his eyes on her.
Yeah.
So whichever way you look at it, temptations
Will
are
come.
all
Absolutely.
around
Yeah,
him.
it's
Right.
Now.
I said, you see, those temptations will come. But even Jesus said, woe unto him, through whom those temptations will come. Because this person is trying to live a godly life. This person, even after marriage, we are all trying to live right before God and before our spouses, isn't it?
Right.
But if that person comes to sabotage, because like Jasmine says, anaweza kuwa tu ameamua, me, I want this person for myself. Which is why we are saying, I'm not protecting this spouse, or no, not spouse, we're not talking about marriage,
Yeah.
this boyfriend or
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm not protecting them, and I'm saying you could have made a choice to stay with me and ignore that. But maybe you did. Now we mean me, I already have, it's a foregone conclusion that I have issue with you if you decide not to be committed to me. But I'm saying in our Christian circles, this person should not allow herself or himself to be used to bring temptation to you.
Let me
Who
say
was
it.
trying
Let me-
Yeah,
It's
the
wrong.
context is very
committed?
different.
You understand what I
Context is
mean?
wrong.
Like,
How so?
I'm not protecting this one who is
Context
this one is
is
not
different,
helpless.
Lorraine.
They're not
But
helpless.
this
That's
other
what you are
person
saying.
set their eyes on this person. Akakuja tu yani akona intention tu ya kuconfuse Julie. You are not looking in his direction.
No,
So the
no,
person is not helpless at
I
all.
think there.
Me, unless you guys have never dealt with those
No,
people.
no, no,
No, the context is wrong.
Hebu
When-
define
it's-
this
again,
context,
we said a
Basi.
dating relationship you are exploring. When you use the language of temptation and intention, I don't think it's fair to the person who simply saw you,
And
they were
like-
attracted
Oh my
to you.
goodness.
Yeah.
Me
Because you were
nafikiri
dating,
vitu
therefore, it
tuna
doesn't
apply
make it
partially.
sinful that they're expressing their desire to have you.
Exactly.
You
At
know,
that point,
so they're not
it's-
sinning and they're not tempting you. They are thinking for themselves and saying, you know what, this would be a good wife for me.
Exactly.
And you see, their intention is not malice.
Yeah.
They don't wish you harm. Even in that relationship, they're not coming to sabotage it. They believe you'd be happier with them than with the other person. So they're actually coming to actually bring.
They believe you'll be happier with
Yeah,
them. You're the
and we all like
selfishness.
that. When you're in love, you believe that that person can never be happier
you
with
happy.
anyone else than they are with you,
self-centered,
regardless of how you don't even want to know how they're
Self-awareness.
feeling with the other person. The other person is irrelevant.
You're making it look like that you're salvaging the life of this girl that is in danger, yet it's your own interest that you're looking for, which is what we have a
Jasmine.
problem with.
But that is what
Jasmine.
love is.
Self-centered
Love is selfish. You're thinking about.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, it is a selfishness that I'm allowed by God. That's why I don't want you to call it a temptation.
Yeah.
A sin.
And to it is
On
the
the flip
simpness
side-
money
on the flip side-
inappropriate.
On the flip side, there are people who want to sleep with someone because they're someone's girlfriend. I mean, they look at you, they don't like, they just want to spoil your relationship. They want to sleep with the girl and destroy the relationship. Now that's sinful. And the girls just want to come and destroy. They just want to see how strong is your relationship. If I throw some money at you and ka flowers and ka holiday, will this relationship survive? Again, that is sinful. So we acknowledge that there are dishonorable pursuits. But you want to defend the space for an honorable pursuit of someone who is not married. Let me say that. And
So-
if there's an honorable pursuit, if there's an honorable offer on the table, we should not begrudge the girl. For example, if there's a Jen daughter here who used to date a certain fine gentleman, and next week they decided, now I'm moving to the other fine gentleman, we should not begrudge her because fine gentleman one was not her husband, and it's within her rights to explore a dating relationship
So
with fine
my question
gentleman
now
too.
is this final question, because I think I agree with you as far as kuna bad motives
Yeah.
of pursuit
Yeah.
and honest, selfish for
Yeah.
me motives of
Yeah.
sina ubaya na huyu, me I just want this for
This
myself.
is what I want.
So my question is, are we not trying to strengthen our muscles? Like I said, no magic wand is going to be waved over you.
Absolutely.
To stop pursuing people who are committed. Could this be a
I
character?
don't, you see, I am not
You
the one
are
who needs
fanning
the
in
muscle.
yourself.
Let me just say this.
That's
The
a
strengthening-
good question.
The strengthening of the
Ruke.
muscle is between the two. It's between
Huh?
the dating couple. They're the ones who should strengthen their muscle of resistance
Individually.
of external factors. Me, as Jack, I am looking for a wife. I have no muscle to strengthen.
Yeah.
I have seen a woman that I like. So don't make me go to the gym to strengthen a muscle that I don't need to strengthen.
Yeah.
That is exclusive to the two of them.
You don't
who
think
are facing
it honestly
temptations.
strengthens respectful boundaries when you know, because we have determined that in our society, this dating thing is actually exclusive. It doesn't mean it is marriage. Even Bishop has said, it's just, of course, you are pursuing this one first with this one. If it doesn't work, you'll pursue this one with another one. So it can a sense of exclusivity. It might not be to the level of engagement or marriage, but it can a level of exclusivity. So don't you think it helps you as a person to learn how to respect boundaries? If you decide, aki kusema kweli nimekufia huyu boy, but since he's dating this other chick, let me just try and hold my emotions. The heart is deceitful, like I said.
Can I make my last?
Please make it.
My last. So you guys have said that the organic ones are allowed, but the inorganic ones are not. Like,
What do you mean?
the organic ones, I mean, like maybe
They're eyeing
you
in the
work
restaurant.
for IBM, right? And you're dating me or someone, and then in IBM there's another guy. You just talk. We're friends. Of course, you have to. You're in the same team. You do the projects together. Sometimes you travel in the same teams together. And then the more you know this person, the more you realize this is actually a nice guy. And then eventually, he also realizes you're a nice chick and you have chemistry. And then he courteous you later, and you're like, hey, I've known this guy for 2 years. He's been my colleague. I think you'd be a better person to spend the rest of my life
what
with
we said was,
than my boyfriend who's
kama
in charge.
huyu mtu
So
wako
is that
ni yeye-
allowed?
No, tunasema kama huyu mtu wako ni yeye ameangalia nje na decide that is better than what I have, there is nothing you can do about that.
No, but
No,
it's
no,
the same
Lovi,
thing.
that's what you're
It's the
calling
same thing. I don't know why the
organic.
rules are different, because this guy who's come up front and said, I like you and I want you, there's no difference between him and the one that has happened. It has happened organically to you. I don't understand why there are different rules for him and for this other one who's in
Hebu
your
sikiza hii
life.
angle lingine basi, in addition to what Lo has said, that happens. Mimi who is in this relationship, huyo guy ameni-excite, na decide, as in I make that decision. Jasmine, hii relationship nika haiwork vizuri. Najitoa kwa hiyo relationship, ninaenda. Si umse anakama naikata. Mimi niko na shida na umse wa kukata.
Amekataje
Now,
without your
Chicky,
involvement?
back to Julie's point,
anajaribu.
make the same decision.
Unajua haimaanishi
Yeah.
atakata.
Yeah,
same
inamaanisha
decision.
kuwa successful.
Okay,
Make
let's
the
not
same decision.
let's not forget something.
Yeah,
Even at the time, number one, I think we are operating in a clinical
Yeah,
situation.
very clinical.
Love is not rational.
It's true.
Okay? If you're in love with somebody, you are.
Yeah.
You know, hata ukijaribu kujifanya, watu wanaona, you fall where it's flat.
Kila
You know,
mtu
there are
anajua.
things you do that you stammer, you repeat things that you said, you are told you already said that. Sababu, umechanganyikiwa. Si ndio? So, see, that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
And so, even this person coming to you and saying, I'm interested in you, he's actually not thinking about you and that other relationship. He actually, at that point, he only cares that you become exclusive with him, not with anybody else.
Yeah.
Because he believes this is the most rational decision you can make. And whoever you are dating, that was just a bad mistake. He'll help you recover from that bad mistake. And then you can move on with him. And apart from that, you know, there's... once the lady has said, she still has the authority to say, look,
Yeah.
I'm already in a relationship, you know, and I'm interested in pursuing it. The matter should end there. Now, I would have an issue if you've told me clearly you're in a relationship and you're not interested in pursuing,
Yeah.
then I keep
And I'm
coming
still
at you.
texting,
Now I can
sending
hear
flowers,
Lorraine's language
all
of,
stalkerish.
you know, why are you bringing me temptations?
Yeah.
You I can agree.
That
But
we're
if
together.
I've come, I've said, Mimi, you know, if I don't marry you, I'm sure the sun will not rise tomorrow.
But you know, Bishop,
and then, yeah,
you men are very sly. You don't just come and say, Lorraine, me, if I want you. It could be that anajua kuku confuse nicely. You get what I mean? He doesn't actually ask you so that you have room to tell him.
Jeta, maybe
"Yeah, I'm
when I
dating."
present, like, it's very
Anakuja na,
mechanical. They win. It's
wanakuja
very
na,
winsome.
"Oh, I carry the
And
seat
that's
for
where we
you.
are at.
I do this
Because
for you.
he's genuinely
Anajua
interested in you.
anakuwoo pole pole, anakuwin over.
yeah,
So it's not, you don't have the chance to tell him,
yeah.
wacha kunikatia, because hajakusema verbally
Yeah.
na kukatia.
So
And you
guys,
see, there's nothing wrong with that because yeah, anajaribu his side. Unaona? Now, if he wins you and his intentions are noble for you, he wasn't doing it maliciously to end your relationship. He actually wanted to marry you. I wouldn't begrudge him, by the way. I would say he knew what he wanted. He went for her, and she convinced her. Now he's married, and they're happy.
sawa guys.
Ona, just one last question, and you answer too shortly. Would you trust me? I wanted to
good
ask that
one.
question, and I've seen Mburu Joe has asked that question. If you allowed,
If I left this and
if you
went to
you
you.
allowed me to slice you off your boyfriend, would you trust me if you get what I mean? Now you've dated me and we've gotten married.
Relationship.
If we get to the altar and make a covenant, that's a new beginning. I mean, it's a covenant. You make before God and before men.
Yeah, and
before,
it's a new start.
Yeah, I will trust you. If if you're married, I'll
Julie,
trust you.
When will the trust Nini begin? After you get to the altar,
even when we are engaged, when you've sat down, had a nice conversation, this is exclusive, guard your heart and all those things. But I wouldn't, I'd rather if you think there's quote unquote greener pastures elsewhere, you go. As opposed to being with me, you're unhappy, you're unsettled, you're not sure, your eyes keep wandering, because one way or the other, your eyes would be wandering. So I'd rather we are honest with each other during dating. And what Bishop said is very, very important, because I feel in the Christian circles, many of us are in relationships but we feel stuck in, and you're not stuck. You are with a guy, you can see he has a wandering eye, you can see the girl is not honest. I mean, you pick many signals, but because we are in a Christian setting, the church knows about it, your pastor knows about it, the bishop knows about it, you're exclusive, you feel stuck in it, but you are not, and it's very, very important to know. If you're dating, there's a way out. Once you get married, you won't come to the bishop and he won't tell you the same thing. He'll tell you stick it out.
The rules change.
The rules change completely. Yeah.
So change the rules while they are changeable.
Exactly.
Because on this other side, by the way, there will be no leeway. We'll say, you made the choice. And if you have made that choice, you stick to that choice. You love that choice because you made that choice. But on this other side, for me, I would completely trust you. You left somebody for me, so I completely trust you. I feel honored that you would do that for me,
That angle.
I mean, what is not, I look at what you sacrificed for me, I must really mean something to you. So for me, that would be now what can be exclusive completely.
So finally, guys, what are we telling our people as we end this discussion? Reverend Lovey, what are we telling the flock? In light of what we have said,
now that you put it that way.
In light of what you have said, I'm just saying, every stage of life and dating should be treated by its rules. There are commitments you cannot make at certain stages. For example, if you fell in love when you were 13 and you wanted to get married to your boyfriend, nobody would allow you to marry your boyfriend then because you did not have the maturity to make such kind of commitment. 25. So that stage doesn't allow you to bind it by certain rules. So I'm just saying, to be fair to people and allow the rules to be the rules. And don't heighten them and don't lower them, but allow the rules of every stage to govern every stage without social and community pressure.
Well, thank you. Bishop, do you have a word?
I do have many words. Okay, number one, I want to state clearly, this is not a nullification of Philippians 2, which is what Lorraine was insisting on, being considerate of other people. We haven't nullified that. But there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. Okay? The dating time, the time for falling in love, is not a rational time. Okay? That's the time that you have some freedom to explore until your heart finally lodges home to where you feel, here I can stay. Because the rules, once you say I do, are completely different. It's not about how you feel or what you want. It's about living out the duty that you covenanted before God and man. That's a whole different ballgame, okay? But when you're younger, don't shortchange yourself, by acting married and you're not married. Be free, love and be loved. And if your heart recover, if somebody else comes and they love you the way you ought to be loved, then that's probably your soulmate. So give yourself freedom, and you're not sinning before God. Because you have no covenant with anybody. Obviously, you're maintaining your boundaries in terms of sexual purity, in terms of, even emotional bonding. You only allow it to go so far because you also want to guard your heart. But don't get stuck in rules that God has not imposed on you, okay? And distinguish between what God requires and what church and culture requires. Because a lot of us are bound by church and culture. You're a Christian, you are expected to do this. You are expected to do that. Who said? What are those expectations realistic? Are they of God? And are they a blessing to you, or do they confine you to behave only a certain way? So that, take an example of you, Jasmine. You're a pastor, but you're also a girl. You see, once you fall in love, you're not, we can impose a lot of requirements on you. Absolutely. You go out for a date, na kuangalia hivi na kuambia Jazzy, by the way, remember, you're a whole reverend. What does that mean? That you don't have a heart? You know,
Preach it,
that you can't
Bishop.
feel nice when you've been taken out, and you know, and you can't go dancing out with your boyfriend, you know, or your fiance, you know. So we can impose
You want to turn
as
off on
Christians and the church,
Yes.
we can put you in a box until you're totally unable to date, and nobody can actually be able to bond with you just because of our requirements. But God made you a woman, and there are certain joys and pleasures that you should enjoy. Read Song of Solomon, you know, Song of Songs. It's beautiful, and it talks about romantic love and what that means. So that by the time you're making a decision, you know, that person will probably not be marrying a reverend, most likely, I hope not. He should be marrying Jasmine, the woman that he fell in love with.
Yeah.
But we can put such restrictions and confines on you to make it impossible for you to enjoy what it means to be a single young woman who is available for love. You know, so I would say let's not be too hung up on. Let's distinguish between God's requirements, which we must honor, and what church culture and tradition impose on us, which can be very restrictive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Reverend Laurie, do you have something to say? Reverend
just
Julie?
learning.
Thank you. That's really profound. And I think with that, we can say we're on the same page and we agree. And there's nothing to disagree with whatever you've said, especially when you gave my example, Bishop, I have to say. But anyways, thank you so much, guys, for engaging meaningfully, passionately. We really, really appreciate you. So that's it from Homescapes today. We want to wish you a very blessed weekend. See you next week, God willing.